Welcome to Coffee in the Library with Pastor Sevale. Another out of library episode. This time we are discussing cannabis. Are you okay with us discussing cannabis?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not coffee, it starts with C.
Yeah. It's one of those few words that starts with C that are not so welcome.
Yeah.
In my heart.
Yeah. Not so productive.
Yeah.
But here we are. We are going to talk about cannabis, weed, marijuana, all these other terms or phrases that are used to talk about the same thing. So to give some context as to why we're discussing it, over the last, the movement has been around for quite a while. There's been a big push for cannabis, for marijuana growing at the bare minimum, or production to be legalized around the world, but particularly in Zambia. The time is coming soon when we might be looking at fully legalized marijuana growing, using, etc. And so we thought it best to discuss how should Christians think of it and address this matter. So first and foremost, Pastor, is cannabis a sinful substance?
That's a very, very interesting question. The Bible does not, at least as far as my mind is concerned or can wrestle, you will not find the scripture that condemns it directly or indirectly, just like drug or alcohol abuse and the like.
Thou shalt not sell weed.
Yes. However, they are, like I always say, the Bible does contain principles for us to use and apply them in different situations that we'll be able to say no or yes and things like that. And so when we are talking of the issue of cannabis or marijuana, as a term that will be more familiar with for most of us on this side, is we're really asking ourselves, does the Bible give us guidelines on how to go about this issue? And I think it does. First, what comes to mind is 1 Corinthians 6, verse 12 to 20. Although it's not talking about cannabis per se, but the implications are that we must not intentionally do things that harm our body in one way or the other. And so Paul in 1 Corinthians 6 is saying, when he's talking about running away from sexual immorality, he says this in verse 12. All things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be dominated by anything. Food is meant for the stomach, and the stomach for food. And God will destroy both one and the other. The body is not meant for sexual immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. And God raised the Lord, and will also raise us up by his power. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? Shall I take the members of Christ and make them members of a prostitute? Never. And then it goes on. But the point is the starting for me, where it says, all things are lawful for me, but not all things are beneficial. And so when we're looking at this issue of marijuana or cannabis, we are basically asking ourselves the question, is it okay for me to intentionally do anything that will bring some level of harm to my body? And the answer is no. We should not.
Okay. There are two things, two streams that we can go into, that hopefully we have enough time to go down. The first one was part of what you read. I will not allow anything to have dominion or to dominate me, so it's in control. And the other one is harming the body. I'll start with the part about something else being in control. We haven't ever discussed alcohol on Coffee in the Library before, but hopefully hopefully we do an entire episode on that one. That should be an interesting one. Isn't that it seems to me that the issue here is similar to that of alcohol in that drunkenness is when the substance takes control. It gets rid of your inhibitions so that now you are no longer
in control.
You're no longer in control
of your faculties.
Yes. And so yes, the issue. Can the topic of cannabis be brought down to base terms as it's something that removes your inhibitions, therefore you're no longer in control of your faculties, therefore there's something wrong with it?
I didn't want to start from there. That's
Okay.
why I said, where is it okay to intentionally do something or to do things that will hurt your body?
I see. Okay. Then let me set it up a bit more then. When you go to the hospital and they put you under general anesthesia and you go under, you are no longer in control.
Yes.
Something else is in control,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The anesthesia has been used to take away your control. If we are painting with broad strokes, that would also be sinful and wrong.
No, but
Yes, if we're painting in broad strokes. So that's why you're saying if you intention.
yes.
Yes. So what's the difference between those two?
Okay, good. So here there's in one sense where it is used in control.
Yeah.
In another, it's used not in control.
Yeah.
So for me, it's something. Is it okay for I to do something intentionally that brings harm to my body?
Yeah.
And then on the other side, it is not me. It's someone who's an expert in that situation and thinking, in this situation, is what we need to do to help the person. So it's not me saying, give me cannabis or marijuana to relieve me of my stress or things like that.
Yeah.
It's someone else who we call a medical personnel saying, in this situation, this is what you need to do because it's medicine. And I think that's what Paul is basically saying when he says all things are lawful for me, but they're not beneficial for me. And I think Paul's argument is basically saying that as far as it depends on me, this I cannot do because of A and B.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at cannabis, we start from there, and then we can now begin to break down looking at the effects of what you are doing. Even alcohol, we can look at the long-term effects. And therefore, when we look at the long-term effect, then we are saying, is it okay for me then to intentionally do that to myself, knowing the outcomes of the effect? Yeah. And so there are also those that would argue about what would be referred to as recreational use. Yeah. But again, it still comes to the same principle. Whether it's recreational or not, the bottom line is, have you recognized the effects that it's doing to your body? So even if you say, I'm in control, but what standard are you using to say you're in control of your faculties?
Okay, all right. So the difference between the two instances is that one, a medical expert comes in and he says, for these reasons, I would recommend general anesthesia, we put you under or something like that. So if someone can come to you and say, Pastor, well, listen, right? I went to the doctor recommended it. Boom, he even shows you a prescription. One, the doctor also says it's not harming my body. Two, right? Is your response to that one, go ahead, enjoy?
You see, if it's recommended as medicine, I've never come across a person who enjoys medicine.
Okay.
And so a person is going to be excited that
praise the Lord. Panadol.
Then you need to ask the question that, okay, look, what is behind all that? Because medicine is meant to offer relief to some abnormality in your body. So if I'm excited about marijuana, there's a component of me that wants it.
Yeah.
And therefore, I don't mind even if the doctor recommends it. That's one. Secondly, if it's medicine, the doctor will limit its use.
Yeah.
He doesn't leave it to your conscience. You either say once a day or once a week.
Yeah.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So I would like to understand, or I would like to know, okay, so if a doctor is saying, for how long, and what is he trying to achieve?
Yeah.
Once I know that, I would like to ask the doctor if there is another way to deal with it.
You're reminding me of there's a church elder who was once asked about dancing. It was called ministry through dance. Like, what do you think of ministry through dance? You know, Jesus. And the response was the response that the elder gave at the time was, he said, if you want to dance, just dance. Right? Don't start blaming Jesus. Don't make it look as if you want to dance for
Jesus. Just
go and dance. Don't start bringing in all these excuses about these things. It sounds like what you're saying. Someone comes and is like, okay, Pastor, the doctors recommended all of this. It's like you want to use it. Don't start bringing in
the medical
doctors.
side.
Let's address the real thing, which is that you want to take the substance, right? That there should be an honesty.
Just open up and say, look, I've always wanted to smoke, and so therefore I want to smoke because it's like a doctor saying, I'm going to cut you. Move, and they're excited. Oh yeah, I'll be cut. No one does that in their mind, in their normal mind.
And so we should at least be honest about it.
Exactly.
Okay. A church member approaches you and he says, I just want to. I've always wanted to. I think it would be a good experience. Why should we die?
And so we're assuming that this person is a Christian.
Yes.
And again, like I said, the beauty with the Bible is that it doesn't give isolated principles. They are a total package. So even when we went to 1 Corinthians 6 and downwards, and beginning from there are other principles that we might look at. Romans 12, verse 1 and 2 tells us, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So if you are saying you're a Christian, so why do you want to conform to the pattern of this world? Even if it's out of experience, why? Why are you trying to be like the world which you are not? And then the other you find principle is, let's say in 1 Peter 5, 8 and 9, we are being encouraged to be sober-minded. But also you are being sober-minded about the schemes of the evil one. That's what 1 Peter 5 tells us. So don't give a foothold to the evil one to hook you into a substance that you may not want to, that you may fail to get rid of. And then the other thing I want to say to the person is that even if it's experience, this has been my principle in life. You don't have to experience everything to know it. Experience at times is a good teacher for a fool. Learn from other people's experiences and avoid going that path. So you know of individuals, or the head of individuals who are drug addicts or they're addicted to marijuana. It started with trying to experiment. So why would you want to go that path? What makes you think you'll be an option? Rather, you'll be an exception in that context. So you help the person to resonate from the scriptures so that they make up their mind. And lastly, is you also want to be able to let the person know to be aware of the schemes of the evil one. He's very subtle. So you might just experience, you just feel high and you'll be okay. And then in wanting to feel high, that's how you get hooked to this whole issue.
Okay. I'll connect it to alcohol again. Alcohol is not as addictive as cannabis. Someone can drink, get drunk once or twice, and it doesn't hook them to the same extent. The substances are different in terms of how they function. Now it sounds to me like there's a discipline aspect to it that one of them will easily gain mastery over you, while the other one it's possible for you to have mastery over it. So in relating it to alcohol, this is almost transitioning, but it's for a brief moment. If you know someone who has self-discipline issues, and that person comes and he says, "I'm thinking of starting to take alcohol, just for celebration or something like that," given what you're saying, I'm thinking I can respond to that by saying, Chief, you are not disciplined. You can't handle, right?
Yeah.
You can't. So you're not even addressing it. You're addressing it from the vantage point of discipline, in that you are not in a position where you'd be able to use this in moderation. Is that a way in which it can this issue can be tackled, or do we simply stick to?
That's one way.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we don't realize is that actually alcohol is more addictive than drug. I worked for some years back. I worked for an organization that was called Mental Health, and they were trying to help people deal with mental health issues, and most of them were as a result of substance abuse. And top on that was alcohol abuse. Now, we tend to think marijuana or drugs or cannabis, whatever it is, are more addictive, but alcohol is more addictive. If you read the statistics, it is. Because with alcohol, there's an element of feeling nice, there's an element of enjoying, and there's also a sense in which there's a false sense of, it's not as bad as this. Yeah. But it's gradual, but very subtle, the addiction. While for drugs, for marijuana, might just sit your heart in that moment. And maybe you do crazy things and you say, I'm not going to go that way. But with beer, there's a way in which it's gradual but very subtle. Before long, you enjoy it. And it's actually more addictive and very difficult for a number of them to deal with it. So, in as much as you say there's a level of discipline, I think you come to also the angle of the long-term effect on the person and really help the person understand that how are you going to say enough is enough? At what point? Because today you drink one, tomorrow you want to do two, because that's the nature of alcohol. Because the more you feel nice, the more you want. And the more you want to, the more you feel to limit yourself. And as a result of that, you begin to engage in all kinds of vices. That's why oftentimes you find that those who drink will be humanizers. I say oftentimes. Because as it reduces your ambitions, your level of thinking, it now begins to create this illusion that everything around you is yours or is okay. That's why you find that the guy who is a quiet person, when they drink,
alive.
It gives you this sense of false courage. And so that's the subtleness of it all. And behind all that is what I say is the schemes of the evil one. Just letting you know, boss, you can deal with it.
You can deal with it. It's safe. You can do it. Yes. So is that one of the cases where you can say, "Let him who stands take heed lest he fall"?
Exactly.
We're not as strong as we think.
Exactly. And the moment you give do not even give him a chance. That's what Peter tells us in 1 Peter 5:8 and 9 about the devil. He said, don't even allow him an inch. Otherwise, that inch will be, it takes away, it takes control of your life. So So whatever it is you're looking at, the Bible talks about self-control. But that self-control is not in isolation. It is with other principles that the scriptures teach us. So that then you as a person should be able to say, like Romans 12, 1 and 2, I should not conform to the pattern of the world, but I should be transformed by the renewing of my mind. So I'm living this world, I don't want to be conformed. And I'll not just stand, okay, no, I'm not like the world. No, I should be transformed by the renewing of my mind. And how do I renew my mind? I'm daily disciplining myself or putting myself under the instruction of God's word. So that as I'm saying no, I'm growing in this insight.
Okay, so landing this plane, you are a Christian, you're relating to somebody who is dealing with a substance abuse problem, cannabis, right? How do you go about addressing that issue?
Firstly, first of all, you need to recognize their addiction or they are dependent on the substance, and then begin to deal with the at the physical level. Begin to deal with the effects, the health issues that it brings. Cancer, kidney failure, and all those things. And then as you are dealing with those issues, let the person know that even if you totally withdraw from substance abuse or marijuana or cannabis abuse, it's not the ultimate solution. The ultimate solution is freedom from sin in Christ. Because if it's not marijuana, something else will hold you accountable, rather captive, or hostage, because there's no self-discipline there. In as far as your sin is concerned. But also ultimately is for us wanting to teach what the Bible teaches in Titus 2, verse 12. For the grace of God does appear to all men, teaching us to deny ungodliness and worldly passions or lust. So that as it teaches us to deny these things, we must live a sober life in righteousness and godliness in this present world. So we're saying that the reason why I don't drink, it's because I'm broke, or because I don't like it. No, it's because of the grace of God has appeared, and it's helping me to say no to any of these things, but to live in such a way. So that the person sees, because sometimes some people tend to think, because I'm broke. Or not because you're broke, or you've not just had the opportunity. No, it's because of the grace of God, and it helps me to say no to ungodliness and worldly passions. And therefore, because of that, that's why I'm not into all these things.
Reminds me of Romans 13, verse 13 and 14. Let's walk properly as in the daytime, not in drunkenness and orgies, sexual morality and sensuality, quarrelsomeness and jealousy, but putting on Christ. Yes, instead.
Exactly.
Quite similar.
And all these arguments that we use that is not harmful, it's just for relieving my pain and all those things, you actually see that that's a bit of science or biology. It helps you that what marijuana does is that even the relieving of your pain is basically like making your cells dead or die in that moment, so that you're no longer feeling what you're going through. But the Bible doesn't encourage us to be killing ourselves. It encourages us to do what? To transform our mind by the. So I need to be consciously aware of what's happening to me, and therefore be able to say no or yes to it. And so that's what we need to help people with. And even when we're helping one who's addicted, begin to help them, first of all, look at the health issues it's creating. Long-term health issues rather. And then from that point, begin to work with them to show them that the grace of God has the power to change them, even to change their addiction. It's not impossible. It's very possible. And they must be able now to begin to see that hope is only in Christ.
Well, we hope that was helpful for you with cannabis legalization on the horizon. Not sure how long it's going to take, but you can tell there's some serious pushes being made for that. There's also a lot of active use among the people of Zambia. So there are people who you know, people who are related to you, people who are in your surroundings who are affected by this. It's important for us to know and be able to deal with this problem where it is. We hope this has been helpful. Let's take a short break here from our sponsors and then get into our book of the week.
Congratulations! You are now a certified part of the machine, another cog in the wheel with no difference from all the other cogs next to you. Other universities try to build the mind at the expense of everything else. At ACU, we build the whole person, mind, heart, and soul. Humans and not machines. The African Christian University, enrolling now for 2022.
Welcome back. This is segment number 2 of Coffee in the Library, Book of the Week. Take it away, Pastor Sivan.
All right, thank you. Sorry, let me just get the cover back into position so that you're able to. Oh, what am I doing?
This is why I don't like dust jackets. Yeah, I get rid of them as fast as I can usually.
But they give a good look to the book. So this is a theology of the family. Now the book might look thick and intimidating, but it's a very interesting one, and it's basically a collection of articles on family worship, family devotion, and the like. So it's about 5 centuries of biblical wisdom for family life, and then they've been put together for us to read. And Joe Bickey is one of those behind this project, and Phil Johnson and the others. Conrad Mbewe has also commented on this, just the value that this book offers to this whole aspect of the theology of the family. And there's one of the quotes of Spurgeon found in the book is where he's saying that when you look at the history of the world and the history of the church, strong churches as a result of strong families. And so if the family worship is weak, it will result in weak churches and therefore weak communities and weak nations. And so what the authors are trying to do is to help us appreciate the theology of the family and to get us back to the theology of the family, so that the family heads, the husbands or the fathers, might take the responsibility of training and instructing their children in the ways of God. And so the way the book is done is that there are basically chapters on family worship, and it will be maybe a paper or a sermon that someone preached, and it just put in there, edited or reduced to an A4 or just 2 pages, highlighting the key points in that message or in that presentation. And then also there's an example that is given that Bicky does of a grandmother who was prayerful, and then you see that in the children being saved, and then their grandchildren. And also gives the example of Timothy, where Paul is saying you learned it from your grandmother and from your mother. And the bottom line is to show that when the family is walking right with God, it has its own effect, even on those who are not Christians. It sort of restrains the evil in their hearts, and therefore making them to be responsible citizens within the community that are adding value. But also ultimately it is a family which is looked at as a theological training, where it's in the family where you learn about God, but also it's within the family which is a training ground. You begin to learn how to handle discouragement, disappointment, and all kinds of issues, because you would have learned to train your family rather the family heads would have learned to instruct their families in the ways of God and learn how to process things from the biblical point of view.
Yeah.
And so I'd encourage men, even families, to look out for this book and read the book together with your family or with yourself. And it will be very helpful. I can guarantee you, very helpful. Forget about the size. It's not one thought from beginning to end.
Yeah.
It's chapters on different aspects of the theology of the family.
Yeah. You can use it as a reference book.
Yes.
You don't need to finish it.
No.
You can just read the specific chapters here and there. And it's probably a book you keep coming back to over and over again over the years.
Yeah.
And what's our rating for it? How easy is it to read?
Yeah, my own assessment that it's a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not so difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because of the style in which it's written. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So you can pick it up. I know this book is also available in the Evergreen Bookshop. So those of you who are in Lusaka, Zambia, feel free to come through to KBC, look through the Evergreen Christian Bookstore. You will not be disappointed. Thank you very much, everyone. This has been Coffee in the Library. We shall see you next time.
All right, bye.